Oak Creek Homes became certified to build modular homes in June of 2000, and since this time has emerged as one of the premier manufacturers of industrialized housing in Texas. In fact, over this time, Oak Creek has built more modular homes than any other manufacturer in Texas. As well, Oak Creek continues to play a significant role in providing modular housing in Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi. This video presentation is designed to provide a general overview of Oak Creek's modular construction processes and, more importantly, answer the often asked question of what is the primary difference between modular industrialized housing and HUD manufactured homes. In the broadest view of the difference, the two homes are built to entirely different codes. HUD manufactured homes are built to the Federal Manufactured Homes Construction and Safety Standards of 1976, which has been revised several times over the years. Oak Creek modular homes are built to local, city, and state required codes. Generally, the International Residential Code for 1 and 2 family dwellings and other local code requirements. When Oak Creek decided to become certified in Texas as a manufacturer of industrialized housing, several options were available as to the strength of wind loads that our homes would comply with. The higher the wind load, the stronger the home, and more importantly, the closer our homes can be placed to the Gulf Coast. So the decision was made to build to the 120 mile per hour wind load with an option to produce homes that meet a 140 mile per hour wind load rating. As one looks at this map, the yellow coastal areas are the only places our homes are not available for placement without special permitting. It is obvious that by building our homes to a 120 mile per hour or 140 mile per hour wind load, they are very much overbuilt for 95% of the Texas market. This, of course, plays to your advantage because in standard site-built construction, builders construct their homes to the minimum required wind load for their specific area. This presentation will outline many construction features not used in lesser wind conditions. Oak Creek industrialized homes start with a very strong core. Each steel foundation support beam is built by specific design for each model home. Design criteria for our floors calls for a 40-pound live floor load throughout. The steel foundation support beams become a very intricate part of the floor, and in this model, it is not removed after delivery. Just the same, homeowners have the option of ordering a home with a removable chassis, but this is not required to qualify as an industrialized or modular home. The steel foundation support beams are equipped with 4 important items that differentiate the frames from those built into HUD manufactured homes. First, the lateral supports should be no more than 8 feet on center down the entire home. Second, frame attachments are every 16 inches at every possible attachment point on the subfloor. Third, full steel headers are used on the front and rear of the home. Finally, the steel foundation support is recessed at front and rear so stem wall material can easily be added. HUD manufactured homes do not comply with any of the aforementioned 4 points. When the completed steel foundation support is attached to the subfloor, the floor system is complete and very strong. In addition to personal preference, local codes, restrictions, or lender specifications may require the steel chassis to be removed altogether once the home is delivered to the site. This is referred to as frame-off construction. When frame-off selection is made, the flooring system is fortified to manage the additional load. The framing components of the flooring system are upgraded to 2x10 floor joists and 2x12 rim joists as standard. Frame-off homes are traditionally set utilizing either a crane or roll-off system versus traditional set or installation practices and procedures. A specific type of foundation, known as a perimeter foundation, is used to ensure the performance of the structure. The subfloors are built inverted on a very precise jig. 2x6, 2x8, and 2x10 floor joists are laid out exactly on 16-inch centers the entire length of the home. In the event that the home is ordered with a removable chassis, 2x10 floor joists are used. Sewer lines are installed, as well as hot and cold water lines. Any necessary electrical cables are also added at this time. Sewer blocks are installed using steel plumber's tape to ensure proper sewer line drop, reducing long-term maintenance issues. IRC codes require cleanouts on specific locations for all sewer lines. Where water lines and electrical lines are required to cross from one side of the home to the other, special construction blocks are needed to prevent cutting of any part of the perimeter rail, a code regulation. After the sewer lines, water lines, and electrical cables are installed, A formaldehyde-free blanket of R11 insulation is added over the entire subfloor. Finally, to protect the bottom of the home, a layer of reinforced poly is added. In the area of the floor framing, where the transporting carrier will be located, a wire mesh is added to protect the underside of the home during transportation. The steel foundation support is attached to the subfloor framing with steel clips and along each lateral support. The maximum space is no more than 16 inches along the entire house. Afterwards, the subfloor is righted and continues through the process. Unlike manufactured housing, which often has particle board for floor decking, Oak Creek industrialized homes use 3/4-inch tongue and groove plywood as their standard for all floor decking. After installation, an industrialized adhesive is applied on each joist and 4x8 sheets of decking are laid out and staggered for additional strength and mechanically fastened on the adhesives for a tight, secure fit. Nails are hand-checked again for secure attachment. All seams are rechecked and filled with sealer if necessary, then sanded for a smooth application for floor coverings. The floor is then covered with an industrial 15-pound material to protect the floor and floor coverings during the remaining construction process, and is removed when construction is completed. Walls are built on full-size jigs to an exacting specification. Virtually all studs are 2x4 number 2 grade with a maximum spread of 16 inches on center. To meet the 120 to 140 mile per hour wind load, exterior walls are built with studs placed on an average of 12 inches on center to a point 48 inches in from each corner of the home. HUD manufactured homes use less wall studs and minimal framing around windows and doors. All industrial home wall construction requires double 2x4 top plates and a single 2x4 bottom plate. The formaldehyde-free R13 insulation bats are added with no insulation voids. When completed, the industrialized adhesive is applied to the entire wall. Luan plywood panel is then laid in the glue-covered wall framing and fastened with wide crown staples. Next, industrialized adhesive is added and 1/2-inch drywall sheetrock is applied over the glued-on paneling and attached using sheetrock nails. Windows and doors are routed out of full 4x8 sheets of drywall sheetrock using whole pieces, which increases the wall's strength. The wall is then set up to dry. Here you can see the exterior wall ready for placement. Next, the roof and ceiling section is assembled in another precise process. Large 4x16 sheets of sheetrock are laid out parallel to the trusses, so all seams are supported by roof framing members. Once laid out, all seams are taped for movement. Pre-engineered and built truss rafters are then laid out on 12, 16, or 24-inch centers, depending on the load requirement ordered by the particular customer or by the region of the country. Once the trusses are in the exact position, attachment is made using polystyrene foam on all bottom truss cords and sheetrock seams. Flexible ductwork with an insulation value of R8 is installed in the roof cavity. This assures excellent heat loss values. All ductwork is securely attached to ceiling download boxes and tested for airflow and leaks. Paper rulers are installed throughout the roof cavity to ensure the exact thickness of insulation is blown into the attic to maintain an R30 or R38 insulation value. R30 is the standard roof insulation in an Oak Creek industrialized home. The Oak Creek home is constructed with a very tall heel area of the roof truss to allow for a more even distribution of insulation in the roof. Various climate conditions in the country require additional amounts of insulation to meet specific thermal conditions. The achieved R value of the insulation is determined by a general average thickness across the roof surface. Now that the basic home components are constructed, floor, wall, and roof, assembly of the home begins. Starting with the floor, 4 exterior walls are attached. A thick bead of caulk is added to stop all possible air penetration into the home. Once the caulk is laid down, the wall is placed into position and screwed to the floor with large 4.5-inch screws, which are placed down the entire wall at 16-inch centers. All walls that join are also caulked, nailed, and screwed together in this manner. Plumbing drain lines, as well as water lines that come through the floor, are caulked and foam sealed to stop all air penetration. In order to meet IRC and energy codes, the water heater is wrapped in a thermal blanket and placed on a drip pan with all pipes insulated for heat loss. An anti-clatter valve is then installed to stop clatter noise. The temperature pressure valve as well as the pan drain are piped outside the home per IRC code. The top corners of each exterior wall are notched in construction so that the top plates can be interconnected for complete stability. After all interior and exterior walls are in position and tied together, the roof section is lifted from the ceiling jig and secured in place, again using the 4.5-inch screws every 8 inches on center. The windows used in Oak Creek homes are vinyl, high-performance, dual-pane, low-E divided light windows. Dual glazing provides for an insulating layer of air between the 2 glass panes that creates a window that is almost twice as efficient as a single-pane window. Low-E, or low emittance, is a term for glass that has a very thin transparent coating of metal oxide that allows for visible light to shine through, but effectively reflects infrared heat from entering the home in the summer and keeps the same heat inside the home during winter. Working together with the other energy-efficient components of the window, the vinyl frame helps eliminate much more heat loss than the aluminum-framed windows used in lesser homes. Wiring of the home begins as soon as the roof is in place. All lighting and receptacle circuits are either 12 or 14 gauge copper wire. Unlike most manufactured homes, the circuits are threaded from the top to avoid wall punctures and possible damage. Larger wiring for the furnace, range, and dryer are in the subfloor and fed from below. Receptacle boxes and receps are installed and then caulked to stop all air infiltration through the walls. With all wiring in place, cellulose insulation is blown into the roof cavity using the measured guides to ensure a true R30 or R38 insulation value average in the entire attic cavity. Next, 20-gauge Simpson hurricane straps are attached to each roof truss and to the wall stud directly beneath each rafter. In addition to the Simpson strap, another 26-gauge steel strap is added at every stud to secure the roof to the wall and the wall to the floor. These are required to meet the 120 mile/hour wind load that Oak Creek has designed its modular homes to adhere to. Now the home, its floor, walls, and roof are basically sealed. Homes designed for the 140 mile/hour ratings include an increased amount of straps, fasteners, and clips. In most cases, long threaded rods with large washers and lock nuts are required from the roof down through the wall and protruding from the bottom of the floor framing to meet the high wind conditions. Roof decking of 7/16" OSB is installed using expansion H-clips. And then the entire roof is covered with a 30-pound roll of felt shingle underlayment, commonly called tar paper. GAF 20-year, 210-pound 3-tab shingles are now mechanically nailed down to comply with the 120 or 140 mile/hour wind load requirements. To comply, Each shingle must be attached with 6 nails, not the 4-nail pattern of most site-built and manufactured homes. Exterior siding is the last item added before the home leaves the main assembly area. Owens Corning True Wrap over the OSB creates a protective barrier against air infiltration and unwanted moisture. In addition to sealing out air, it is designed to allow damaging water vapor to escape from inside the home. And then either Smart Lap or Semplank Lap by Hardie is applied and painted. Smart Lap or Semplank Lap by Hardie are options most customers order.